Z, 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 Z. Alooominum, Alooominum, forget it. Oh, howdy folks, TJ here. I've just been practicing my, whatever you want to call it, proper pronunciation of various words as I've been doing my YouTube channel. I've been using Sinclair computers. Early on, I was reprimanded for the way that I said the letter Z, as in ZX81. I think it was Richard Hallis. Hi, Rich, or Richard. He kind of said, hey, just by the way, this is how we say it. And I kind of knew that, but I'm 50-some-odd years old, and I've always used the letter Z as in Z. So breaking bad habits is kind of difficult. But I must admit, Z sounds cooler. So if you've probably watched all my videos for the last year, other than the very first one or two, I'm pretty much a ZX guy now, and I'm starting to see the letter Z as Z. Does that mean I'm turning British? I kind of feel like I am in a way a little bit. But, you know, the letter Z, how do you guys say zombie? Z-ombie? No, that just don't work. Zombie. So, it's just, I was going to do a video early on. I was going to say, here's a picture of a zebra. How do you say it? Zebra. Not, I guess you probably call it zebra. I have a friend from New Zealand that said, yeah, it's zebra. And I said, how do you say zombie? And he said, zombie. So what's this all about? This video, I kind of just said, you know, the Spectrum Next is turning me British. And in a way, it kind of, you know, maybe some of the flavors from overseas are falling down on me because, as you know, I've kind of fallen in love with Sinclair. You kind of know that I'm an Atari guy from early on, and I knew about Sinclair computers, but it wasn't that big of a deal. For me, I was an Atari guy. And I remember when the Spectrum Next first was announced 3 years ago now, I guess. And I said, yeah, kind of a cool computer. And I remember checking out the Kickstarter. But, you know, I had a lot of other frying pans in the, what do you call it? Pokers in the fire, I guess. And I didn't have the spare change to buy one, so I didn't. And then about a year and a half goes by, and then I kept watch of things, and then late 2018, I'm guessing one of your, or one of the Kickstarter updates grabbed my attention. And ever since then, I've kind of been nuts about Sinclair. So over the 2018 holidays, I started reading up about the Spectrum Next. I started looking at Spectrum computers, and I made my first purchases in 2019, January. A Timex Sinclair TS2068, and also an Omni laptop. Quite exciting, you know, going through Christmas time and reading about stuff and then saving up money to buy it. It was pretty fun. And so, yeah, I kind of fell into it late, and then all of a sudden I go, you know, I didn't put my money down on a Spectrum Next, and I'm not going to be able to get one because it's a Kickstarter and it's all sold out, and who knows if another Kickstarter will come and all that fun stuff. So I don't know if it's more painful to have put down early money and then it take 3 years to ship, or being from the outside coming into it mid-cycle and going, damn it, I can't buy one now. I think there's somewhat equal pain a little bit, because you kind of can see what's going on now, and you're not going to be able to get one. So if you've been kind of reading my story, I've been kind of watching, and then eventually one finally somewhat fell into my lap. A gentleman from the United States said that he's considering selling his. He's in California, I'm in California, and just the luck of the draw, I was able to make an offer, and he accepted, and now I'm officially a Next pledge owner. And you guys already know that. I did a video about that. But with the Next about to ship, everybody's getting excited. I'm super excited. My guess is in the next week or two, they're going to announce that they're finally actually shipping. They haven't announced that yet. They just said end of January, you know, around that time, things might start shipping. And I think very soon, any day now, they're going to announce that it's shipping. So I thought I'd make this fun little video about why am I in love with the Spectrum Next? I'm a guy in the United States. I mean, let's look at it the way it is. Sinclair never really was big here. I love black computers. They're sexy. I love the Next Cube. Has the word Next in it. I love black computers. So something about the design of the Next really jumped out at me. So I'm blaming the folks that are creating the Spectrum Next for turning me British. So you're going to hear from my lawyer soon. Joking. I won't do that until I get my Next first. Then I'll do it. But I'm glad to be part of the family here. So I'm excited that it's going to be shipping very soon. So why do I want a Next other than its sexy appeal? So as you've been probably following my story, I wanted to get back into BASIC and write a program. Back in 1980, 81, with my Atari 800, I was starting to create a game called Invasion of the Cloud People. And it never really got to much. I had a guy moving around on screen and all that. And then girls and cars and all those things came into the picture. So I've been married almost 30 years now. In a month and a half will be 30 years. And a British accent might not be too bad. My wife would prefer I have a Scottish accent. So Jim Bagley, if you can give me any tips, maybe after being married 30 years, we'll still have some fire. I won't go there. But if I spoke a Scottish accent, yeah, my wife would probably pay attention to me more, other than, yeah, do whatever, So Spectrum Next, back on topic here. So I made my first game. You kind of followed. I had I printed out the grid. I created my first spaceship, and I just started documenting everything about my exploration in the Sinclair on YouTube. And a lot of fun. It was there for me, so I could remember some of these things. But at the same time, I thought some people will enjoy it. I thought some folks from the United States would enjoy it and maybe learn something from it. And so I've continued on with doing that, and my station channel, I guess you should say, has really grown. It started out, I think, just a little under 400 that I was on from 2007 till then, because I just put videos up every once in a while. But as soon as I got dedicated to it and started really doing a lot of Sinclair videos, I've now broke over 1,000, which is really not tons. But you think about it, that's 1,000 people that, for whatever reason, enjoy some of my antics maybe, and maybe some of my content. So I really appreciate everybody kind of sticking around and giving me a shot and watching some of my videos. But anyway, again, back onto the Next. So, why do I want a Next? So my game, Invasion of the Cloud People, I started creating it, and I got the character moving, and I had all the acid drops on there, and I had my ship moving around, and I could touch them. But as soon as I started adding my nasties, tornado and lightning strikes, as soon as I added those two, everything started really slowing up. And then after that, I added another lightning strike, so there'd be two coming down, and it really slowed up. And I'm new to programming, so I'm sure there's a lot of things I could have did to improve it. But realistically, I would probably need to learn, to do machine code, have application, learn that. And I don't know anything about it, really. And I just didn't want to go there yet. I'm not ready for it. So I learned about you can get a program and compile it, and it converts this basic code into machine code or machine language, machine code, I guess, would be proper name. Anyway, and I did it, and it made things a lot faster, which was really cool. Tried all these different versions, but then I hit some roadblocks. So the version that I found that actually worked for me, once I got my application to about 14K, because I wanted the game to have, maybe 15 levels and more nasties and everything, but as soon as I got there, it's so slow. And then this compiling program was working great, and then as soon as my app hit 14K, that's when the app wouldn't compile it anymore. So I tried some other programs, and they weren't working right. There was problems, and I just didn't have that much time to digest into it. So, long story short, I had to kind of keep my program down to about 14K. So that 15 levels became 7 levels. So I made the game a little bit harder. So that 7 levels, I just made the game to kind of be a quick little go in and play it and have fun. Do you know what the cassette 50 is? I didn't. But when I looked into it, it was a tape that had 50 games that you could buy and play on your Spectrum back in the day. And most of the games, for lack of a better word, were rubbish. Is that a British word? Or I should have said crap if I was in the United States, right? Rubbish. I don't know. You tell me if that's proper. So I wanted to create a cassette 50 game. That's what I came out and said I was going to do. So I achieved it, I feel. I made this game. It actually worked. I'm sure there's some things I could have did better, but I made 7 levels, made it progressively harder, and made it really hard, that 6 and 7, to where it would be hard to win, but eventually people started winning. I finally won after I posted the game up, because I hadn't won unless I cheated, right? So I played, and I actually won, so I go, okay, the game's ready. I put it out there, and a few people, I think more than, a few handfuls of people tried it and used it and said, yeah, it's kind of fun. I got some critiques, and I always take those critiques to heart, and yeah, that makes sense. But then I wanted to remind them, I wanted to make a cassette 50 game. This wasn't going to be bigger than that, at least then. So I made the cassette 50 game, and one of the remarks I got back from somebody said, yeah, if it was a cassette 50 quality game, and that was your goal, you would have been at the top of that cassette 50 list. So that was a cool little kudos. So I think I did that. I learned a lot. But, how am I going to go past that? I need to either learn machine code or get a program that actually can compile something more than 14K. I won't get into that too much. But anyway, I ran into that roadblock. I went around it and I made something and it worked. And I was quite pumped. So the Spectrum next. I want to still work on basic. There's tons that I need to learn. So basic. Next, ZX basic. And you can use it on a machine that's much faster. Not only 3.5 megahertz, but 7, 14, and now 28. So maybe there's a chance I can make my Invasion of the Cloud People game better. I can actually have multiple colors for my little spaceship that was normally just green. And early on, I thought I could make little red flames at the bottom, but then I quickly learned, no, you couldn't do that in BASIC. Basically, I had to make my little animation of the fire the same color as my ship. At least I couldn't figure out a way to go past that. But now with sprites, I can have a multicolored character. I can move it around on the screen. It can be multiple colors. Maybe I can make that flame at the bottom that I want to do. And then I can have more nasties because the speed is faster. So I'm looking forward to the challenge of using my next, making Invasion of the Cloud People for it, naming it something slightly different. I've had some ideas, and I'll talk about those down the road. But I want to come out with a version for the next that's better than what I did. And hopefully I can make that happen in 2020. I look forward to the challenge. So that's one of the big reasons I've been really wanting to get one, because I want to dive in the basic more and learn about all these different things I can with the next. So I'm so excited that it's about the ship. And for the longest time, I thought I wasn't going to be able to get one. They've always said, yeah, there should be a second Kickstarter. But, sometimes what you say doesn't happen. And so I was worried, but I lucked out. The man above said, give him a next. But you got to pay some money for it. And yeah, I paid for it, a fair price. And so I'm super excited. Everybody, you're about to get your nexts. I am. I'm going to document it on my YouTube channel. And hopefully you guys come along for the ride. But so that's my little story, why I really want to get a next. Kind of in the future, and why I'm building my YouTube channel. It's not to make money or anything like that. Of course, down the road, if they put ads on it, if I ever get to that plateau, I'm not going to kick it away. It would be cool to earn a couple extra dollars. And in fact, I created a Patreon account just for people that are saying, hey, I want to treat you to a beer, but they're over there and I'm here. And in the past, they would kick over some PayPal money or something. I thought just having an official Patreon where they can kick me over a couple bucks, treat me to a beer, they enjoy what I do on YouTube. I can be silly at times, comical, whatever you want to call it. Informative, I'm sure, in some cases. And I've now got 5 patrons, which is kind of cool. 5 people that are helping me out build the channel. My hope is that I can be one of the guys in the United States that can rekindle is probably the best word, Sinclair in the United States, even if it's on a small level. So does that mean, I've already met one gentleman here in California. Hi, Tim. He's not a social media guy, so you probably won't see that. But met him. He's 3 hours away. I drove to his house. He gave me some old stuff that he didn't want to have anymore, hardware-wise, because he's not a hardware guy. I've met him. There's a guy actually just in town where I live that is from overseas, from the UK, I believe. And one of these days I'm going to have a coffee with him. And so little things can build out to bigger things. So maybe the guy in Bay Area and my local guy here, and then you get 2 or 3 more, and then you have 5 people, and then we say, let's all meet together. And we all meet, and that becomes maybe not a club, but a little group of, we meet every once in a while. And then we all of a sudden say, hey, why don't we see if we can beg, borrow, or steal a library room or a hotel room, and maybe put on a little event, a retro event, but it's focused on Sinclair. And maybe we'll have the Spectrum next there to say, hey, here's some legacy old Spectrum stuff, here's the new stuff. Do you like it? Give people an opportunity to meet. You never know, maybe one day we'll have, in 5 years from now, a little annual get-together where we have 30, 40, 50 people, whatever it happens to be, all because they enjoy Sinclair. So that's kind of my growth pattern that I'm looking at. I'm hoping that with, at least I don't bring money into it, but I bring excitement to most of the things I do. And hopefully I'm exciting people to get out there with Sinclair products. If a guy in the U.S. can do it, anybody can do it. And I want to bring Sinclair to the United States and bring some enthusiasm to it. So hopefully you're here to enjoy that ride. I know I'm going to be looking forward to it. And the Spectrum Next is right around the corner. And I hope a second Kickstarter happens for everybody that couldn't get one. Because I want to get a second one so I have 2. And a lot of excitement. So anyway, I'll just kind of end it there. I think I'll have a little blooper at the end here that I'll tease you with my pronunciation of stuff. But at least I say Zed correctly. I can't say the aluminum word yet. I'll keep working on that. But until next time, thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy and have fun with your Spectrum Next. See ya. Aluminum. Alooominum. Ali. This one's a hard one for me. Aluminum.